my life. I think the signal is better in this room, so I'm sharing it. My neighbor is sharing it. So I'm still reading The Only Planet of Choice, published 1993, Essential Briefings from Deep Space. And I really enjoyed this today. So it was the third attempt because my signal kept going, and now I should just continue because seems alright. They're talking about being a victim and so on. In your planetary evolution there are stages as well as blueprints of life. We will take a tribe that you might call barbaric. In their state they victimize and are victimized because they live in a small framework. They do not understand the wider reality. It is only by experience and education that they extend and expand beyond it. The more aware you become, the less tendency you have to fall into the arms of an octopus. In other words, don't take on anything or anyone you know you do not have the strength to pull away from. Or it has less significance because your ego is not so caught up in it, in the octopus arms of yourself or another. Just thinking, I'm going to put a little bit of music on. I recorded, I always do my own stuff, so extracting. It also seems that people who are very sensitive, physically receptive or open to others or other energies are more vulnerable than others. Is there any advice to such people for them to be protected? Tom: yes, upon waking each morning ask for a protection of light surrounding you to keep maintaining balance and constantly check on your reaction within. Whose reality you exist within? Can you be involved physically with other beings and not hurt them? Remember that you must have compassion, you must have harmony, you must have understanding, but at all times you must detach from the work. We will go one step beyond and explain if you wish. In your physical world, in your physical desire and your emotional exchanges, can you, in such souls and heart, become involved in a physical relationship when you are involved in the work of consciousness? And if that person you are involved with is also involved in the work, can you in honesty say that when you go into the work you will be completely separate and objective? When you meet a conflict of priority between the work and your relationship? And can you be firm in your analysis of the situation? Can you say, no, in this matter I believe you are incorrect? Or will that physical relationship create a problem? Will you bend towards one side or another because of your physical relationship? Can you explain to your partner that, when you enter the portals of our world, that you must then be cut off from the physical being and act with detachment, completely objective and honestly? You do not need to answer these questions to us, but to yourself. Guest: if one could not detach, leave that kind of relationship behind when necessary, does that mean it would contaminate our inner work with your world? Is that the end result? Is that what the end result is? Tom, who speaks for the collective: it would contaminate the work, but not the relationship with us. Remember, in your physical world, people around you do not always understand who you are, and perhaps may never truly know who you are. But at times, in their own way, without meaning to, they will try to control you. And remember, they might be in the world. This is in their priority. So they may create a problem for you. Do you understand fully? I think I do. We must have complete clarification. You must not say you know and later not know. Well, Guest said, if I could paraphrase it, the work is to be detached from any other relationship we have outside of that work. Tom: that is not 100%. I will give you an analog. We will put you in a situation. You have a business together, and the business is separate from your household. One evening you spend the time together, and you're very loving, very close, in complete balance and harmony in your physical life. In your morning time, the two of you go to your business. When you enter that business, can you then detach from your partnership relationship? If your mate does something wrong in that business, or if your mate is not completely detached, or if someone comes into that business and your mate does not handle the situation as it should be handled, on whose side do you go? Do you go on your customer's side or on your mate's side? Can you detach? Can your mate understand that in your correcting the mate, it was for the business and it was not personal? They say I'm not making myself clear. Guest, I think we understand that very well, yes. Tom, can you not manipulate your mate? And can your mate not manipulate you? That is what we're trying to say. To the detriment of the work or your business, this is what you have to deal with. Can you stand firm and say you are wrong? Or will you weaken? Do you see? Guest, total objectivity and total honesty in these situations. Tom, will it then create a problem in your evening? Laughter. Guest, yes it will. So you can get into this. So you can't get into this unless your mate is carefully chosen beforehand? Tom, will your mate try to then run your business? All areas you must investigate. Will your mate truly know better than you, or will your mate think that they know better than you? Guest, well, can you comment on whether there is any purpose or validity to the institution of marriage on the planet at this time, during this period? Tom, you speak of marriage that is a legal contract according to the terms of the nation of your existence. A oneness is a oneness. If it is as an identifiable structure to bring forth to those in your vicinity to show them that there is solidarity and oneness, marriage has value. However, many pairs of people are one without a legal contract, and at this time they tend to be more at one in their hearts than those that are bound by contract. Guest 2. My wife is now going to separate from me. How can I make her going away easier for both, and especially what can I do to let the least harm come to our children? Tom, remove all past emotions as much as is feasible within you. Approach all from the center of your heart. Be in gentleness, be in confidence with yourself, but be in loving kindness and sincerity. In every world, when there is separation from one who has been close, there is also great pain to many. For your children, always be in truth, in readiness to share yourself, to accept the responsibility for them. Be a strength to them and always in truth. Listen within and follow that. If you wish, call for help. Humankind was not meant to be alone. Humankind has come to learn to merge with the male and the female, the positive and the negative, the yang and the yin, and then it becomes one. We have difficulty understanding your nature. We are being educated by others in the ways of you beings. It is very difficult for us to understand your physical nature. We understand your emotional and your intellectual nature, but it is very difficult for us to understand your physical ways. We are aware of the problems that you are having on planet Earth with the sexuality and the physical. We cannot remove this. This people must remove from themselves or refine it. Andrew, yes, I guess we'll all have to work at it and do best we can. Is there anyone who does understand the physical of humans, since it was designed and created by an intelligence? Tom, are you referring to one of us? Andrew, yes, somewhere in your consortium there must be those who understand it. Tom, there are those amongst us that understand. I do not understand that emotion, so I will relate it in the manner that has been given to me. In regard to your physical bodies, the sexual desire you have, and we are speaking now in terms of your physical reproduction areas, these are similar to a safety valve. When you become involved in awakening and this type of work, of service, this is activated to a degree. If the being is not able to raise the vibration, it becomes like a furnace that is stoked, and the furnace must have a safety valve. The refined way of doing this would be to raise the energy level or to work off steam in your way. Within all of you, there is a pipeline, and if the energy level is not funneled upwards to the steam, can be released properly, it then becomes a hot burning furnace. The only release then is sexuality, I do not understand the emotion. It does not make sense to me. Andrew. The emotion is a kind of feedback loop. There is heat. It wants more heat. Tom, who is from the collective. As they are explaining to me, there is nothing wrong with this emotion, but you let off too much steam, then it dissipates the energy of that furnace, and it no longer supplies and functions as it should. This is the problem in your physical world. There is too much involvement in the releasing of energy rather than refining energy. It is important for this refining to take place. But they are telling me, if you eat too much, you will get sick. I understand not. Andrew. Yes, if we eat too much, we get what is called indigestion. We cannot handle the load and take it. This refers analogically to this physical desire, Tom. That is true. If you eat too much, you dissipate energy. Energy gained from eating. If you act too much, you dissipate the energy of action. Energy is important. It must not be dissipated and thrown into the ether. It must be channeled properly. We would also like you to know that there is nothing wrong with your physical relationships. It is when they become the central issue of your being that the energy is dissipated. Charles. Masturbation. Is it a normal form of behavior, or should it not be at all? Tom. In your world of physicalness, because of desire and genetic factors within the human body that has been generated down through generations, we have no objection to masturbation, for it was a form of masturbation that seeded the earth. But it spills what is of great importance to us. We do not object to the youth if it releases them from pressure within their physicalness. But in older people and those who work in service with us, it can be a wastage of energy which may be utilized otherwise. When it is not utilized in equality or blending of etherics with one of the other gender, it is not in its best essence. But it would bring to you the releasing of pressure, then we have no objection, yes. Mickey. I know we are not supposed to kill, but when female is receiving a baby which does not want to receive, till which month after conception is she allowed to terminate the small one's gestation? Tom. We wish for you to know that there will be no extinguishing of a life that has a right to live. This is governed by the universe. When we say a right to live, we mean a soul that chose to come back to serve, or chose to come for the lesson that it needs. Just not there, isn't it? That's interesting, isn't it? That really souls always decide whether they want to live or not. Okay, I would put it in his word. We wish for you to know that there will be no extinguishing of a life that has a right to live. This is governed by the universe. When we say a right to live, we mean a soul that chose to come to serve or choose to come for the lesson that it needs. Those that are stopped before their birth, in the great majority, are willful spirit that need a longer time to exist than the before birth state, before their returning to a physical existence. Most of them also should be born in other civilizations. You have used the term of kill. It is not correct. It is a very serious problem upon planet Earth because your religions have made it a serious problem in order to control people. We say this to you, a soul that is meant to be born in its proper method will not be extinguished. Those that should not be in some manner will be not brought forth. There is no death before there is life in the physical world. What is murder in your world? It is the extinguishing of a life that has not yet served its full purpose in the physical world. It is not a removal of life, but it is a complication of the process of evolution on Earth. But in reality there is no death. It is wrong to extinguish a life that has not fulfilled its purpose. We mean one that has been brought forth fully to the planet Earth. It has been born. Althea has said that if you want a term, it would be not past 3 months and a half of your months. For up to that time the soul has no memory of being in a cocoon of the womb. Therefore it does not get hurt within. Guest. Is there such a thing on this planet as natural or true soulmates? And if so, is there only one true mate or other half for each person? Tom. When you speak of soulmates, we come into an area that is difficult to explain. For there are those that you have existed within the physical past in other lives, that you may have an affinity for, if they pass your path again. But when you speak of a true soulmate, we speak then of a relationship that is made up of two, but is in reality one. In this instance, you cannot have several possible ones. There is only one. There are those that exist that have integrated as one whole into one being. As in the civilization of Althea here, there is no male nor female, but only one gender. On your physical planet, because of its situation, it is necessary to be male or to be female, but you are in essence one. On the subject of homosexual relationships, Tom, there are very few souls who have come to planet Earth but one time. But those who have come in what you term homosexuality are beings that have lived many existences and repeated them in one sex identification, then came through in the opposite sex, and have confusion. Each of you, you must know this, at one time have lived in this situation. Know this, it is the connection, the coming together of male and female energy which brings oneness with creation. Man has always innately known that power comes from women, and in your heterosexual relationships, male go from one woman to another, looking for that connection with the creation. And they do not take time to understand the energy. They only know in the darkness of the recesses of their mind that they have this desire, and it overtakes them, and instead of bringing elevation, it degrades their being. As in the case of the religions upon planet Earth, in the beginning people had knowledge, and then men became dogmatic in their attempt to control others. Even though in the basis of their knowledge there was truth, it was lost in misuse. You may not wish to hear what we say, but when there is a person that is homosexual, it is a being who has lived as the opposite sex for many lives, repeatedly. What is needed is more understanding of this, for all souls have been of the opposite sex. When you humans understand, then we have a great step forward. Each soul who elevates themselves to understand humankind has lived in this situation. There is a saying in your Christendom that says, "But by the grace of God go I." What it should say is, "But by the grace of what I created go I." Well, so today is Sunday night, and it's almost 8 o'clock, and actually it's just after 8, but they are highly recommended a Sunday evening meditation with 3 to 12 people, and I think I might set that up, but I've only thought about it this minute. So, have a lovely Sunday. Tomorrow morning I should do my dummy again.